Welcome to today's Let's Talk Business. This is Christine Buckley, and I am pleased to welcome Carlos Camargo from MS Media today with us, and he's going to be talking about video. And it looks like we have just Tanya with us today. Hi, Tanya.
Hi there, Tanya.
So we're going to get started, and I just wanted to go through a little bit of housekeeping today about the webinar. The first thing that I wanted to point out is that this webinar is going to be recorded, and you can be listening to it later if you'd like. I'm sure Carlos is going to be sharing a lot of great information, so you might want to listen to this again. If you haven't already, and I think Tanya, you already have, is mute yourself. That just makes it easier for the rest of us to hear Carlos. You can also use either your phone or your computer. If you have any questions as Carlos is going along, feel free to raise your hand and we'll see if he can stop for a moment and answer your question. Or you can type it in the chat box and I'll be keeping my eye on that chat box and get to your questions. A little bit about the Washington Center for Women in Business. As I mentioned, I am the coach for the Washington Center for Women in Business, and we are partially funded by the Small Business Administration, and we provide all kinds of services and support to small businesses. We work not only in Thurston County, but we reach out for example, by webinar to 34 of the 39 counties in Washington state. So we cover topics such as startup planning, business growth and strengthening strategies. If you need a business plan or you need to strengthen up your marketing plan, we will help you with legal requirements, just the operations, the day-to-day pieces of running your business, marketing and sales. And one thing we really provide a lot of is that motivation and the accountability to really move your business from maybe just your launch stage into that next growth stage. So we're really here to support you in whatever stage your business may be in. We provide one-on-one counseling. Like I said, the first session is free, and then after that, it's just $25 per session afterwards. And we do have some scholarships available as well. We do have a lot of stuff going on. I also get out and I teach different classes out in the community. So you want to keep an eye on our calendar, and that is available again on our website, wcwb.org/calendar. And we also list some of our partner activities or events as well. So you want to keep track of that. So I am going to hand this over to Carlos. Welcome, Carlos. It's a pleasure to have you here, and really looking forward to hearing what you have to tell small businesses or businesses in general about video and probably how that is very important. So we're going to just switch you over.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a pleasure. It is an honor to be a part of this. Obviously, I think that in 2018, video is it's no longer a luxury. I think that it's a necessity to have video as a form of communication, not just for marketing needs, but it has many other practical uses that the younger generations are just naturally adopting, and it's good to be versed in how video works and how we can all use it. We here at Media Marketing Solutions, our philosophy on video is that it is a disposable commodity, and the reason for that is that video has a daily use that you can put into action, not just to sell things, but to have a strong communication with your community online, with your peers, with your vendors. Really, it's an excellent way just to be on not even the cutting edge, but just to integrate yourself into this new form of utilizing video. So with all that said, let's go ahead and get started. And I will be referring to not just these wonderful ladies that have joined us today, but also anyone that decides to see this in the future. I really think that a lot of this is very applicable and rewatchable. So first, I want to talk about what kind of video is right for anyone. This is a question that we get all the time, and you know, we all have a concept of video from the context that we are familiar with from seeing television and movies. That is really where we get the context of how video works and what it's used for. We don't really think of it as a bilateral form of communication, but through social media, video is now a bilateral form of communication. So with that said, what kind of video is right for me? It's not really about the length, or it's not really about how much money you need to put into it. It's really what is it that you're trying to achieve. The number one form of using video today is to use it to tell your story, or the story of your enterprise, the story of your company, your organization, how you know, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. You want to approach it from the story's perspective. So the correct answer is your story. That's what you need to keep in mind. And we're going to talk a little bit about story and what that means. I'm always a little cautious to not to go into what might appear hokey or what might sound kind of corny to talk about story. It's really easy to end up in that area, but really there's a very clear definition of what a story is, and we're going to talk about that briefly. So a story is a story is a sequence of events that end with a conclusion. This is something that a lot of people have trouble with because once you set up a camera and it's rolling and you're recording something, it's easy to just go on and on. Similar to how when you write an essay and you're not familiar with writing essays, it's not something that you do typically. It's really easy to sort of lose your direction. But when you conceive a video with an intention in mind, that's how you're going to be able to work your way back to how to tell your story effectively. A story has a thesis and an antithesis. So what does that mean? That means it has a point A and a point B. This applies to what your day-to-day activities are, or what you're trying to achieve, what the big picture why is for you and your company. It includes a survival tip. It is a chronicle of change, and it is I got a typo there. It's a chronicle of progress. So I'll go through these. We already talked a little bit about the sequence of events, but essentially, in order to effectively use video, you need to retain people's attention. The way that you retain people's attention is that you take them through a sequence of events that ends with a conclusion. So for example, if we see a video of a person that is trying to get from a first story of a building to the second story, we need to see them enter the building, find the stairs, walk up the stairs, or take the elevator and end up in that second story. That might sound very rudimentary, but you'd be surprised how many people, or how easy it is to forget the way in which we perceive events. A thesis and an antithesis, or antithesis. What this means is we need to start in one place and end not just in a different place, but in the opposite place of where we began. The way that we do this is by, again, figuring out what it is that we're trying to say. Let's use, for example, a nonprofit organization, and let's just say that, for example, this nonprofit organization their objective is to provide shoes for the homeless of any particular city. Well, at the beginning of your video, you need to present the amount of homeless people that struggle to attain shoes, that are going to last, and to attain shoes that are either affordable or completely free. And then at the end of the video, not only are you going to cover or demonstrate that it's possible for the homeless to receive this aid, but that you can do so in a very practical way. And we need to actually see this come about. We need to actually see people receiving this help in order to have a completely formalized picture of the story, which is that we can come together as a community and we can put shoes on on the homeless, right? So a thesis and an antithesis. A survival tip. This is something that when you're studying film, all of us here at Media Marketing Solutions, we're all filmmakers, and so when you go through film school and you talk about why there is a survival tip in a story and why that's important, you have to look into why people spread stories in the first place and how people use stories in a practical form. So there's a chance, it's almost, I want to say, it's about 12:12. So by noon, you will have already told at least one story to someone. And you might not be aware of it because we speak in stories, but for example, just before we started this webinar, I had a great conversation with Christine about how being able to speak Spanish has an advantage in today's marketplace. And even though we might not be completely aware that we're speaking in a story form, the reason that we exchange that information, why it's valuable, is because it includes this tip that allows for us to get ahead. So think about how you're able to provide value to your audience by giving them a tip of how to get ahead, how to overcome something. That is the survival tip that we're talking about. And then we need to provide a chronicle of change. This is a little bit like having the thesis and an antithesis, but this is the nitty-gritty. These are the mechanics behind that change. We need to see what we needed to do in order to get that step one step forward, or to get that funding, or to get to get into an office. We need to be able to see this chronological change in where we are from point A to where we end up in point B. And the chronicle of progress is being explicit about how we are progressing to this point B. So I'll be happy to talk more about what this definition of story is, or if you have any questions about that, I'd be happy to talk about it. And I can also provide you with some great references for some reading material that can really help to illustrate this as well. So concerning what makes content that actually works, you have to consider that story and value are king and queen in today's social media landscape. What that means is, in order for people to share something, to share a piece of media, this piece of media needs to provide us value that we wouldn't be getting anywhere else or as easily. So, for example, Facebook just decided to change its algorithm so that advertisers and publishers will have a more difficult time getting their content in front of people. This is because they realize that most advertisers and publishers don't really care to provide value to their audience. They just want to sell something. Well, in 2018, the general audience, the general population, is already pretty well versed in what is a commercial and what is not. And as soon as they spot even the slightest hint of a commercial, they completely disregard it. And all that money, all that effort that went into creating this content, this commercial, is completely worthless. And this is only going to become more and more difficult. It's only going to become more and more difficult to get people to pay attention and for them to take the content seriously. What I have here is a vlog. It's a video blog. You might be familiar with what a video blog is, or vlog, what it is. And if you're not familiar, I promise you, your kids or your nieces and nephews, I promise you that they know what a vlog is. It's a very common, very popular way of communication today. And so this is a vlog that one of our clients at Design Smart, the owner, Lisa Poundstone, she's a phenomenal person. She is an interior designer, and you'll see how she uses story and value to get across an excellent marketing piece here in this video. You might not be able to hear the sound. So you might not be able to hear the sound here, but what works really well about this video is that it works even if you can't hear it. The reason it works is because there is so much going on visually in this video that the audio is just a complementary piece. In this case, Lisa is using the storytelling that I was just referring to in the last slide. She's using that to show us what it's like from point A when this home is completely bare and ready to be staged, to what it takes to stage it, and then what it looks like once it's done. So I'm going to go ahead and skip over. You'll see this is a rather short video. It's just under 3 minutes. You see the home, you see the kitchen, and it's already a very nice home. But Lisa is going to demonstrate what it's, how much value she's bringing to this home just by bringing her creativity and her awesome selection of furniture for the staging. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward here a little closer to the end. So now she's showing us what the home looks like once it's staged. Again, it's using that point A to point B sort of format that we're very used to and that we expect. So the key to making content like this that actually works is to stop treating the viewer or the audience solely as a consumer in an era that condemns materialism and values the environment, information, and expression. What that means is, again, the audience is a little bit more sophisticated now than they were last year or the year before that. People go online because they want to take a break from the day-to-day world that is constantly bombarding them with advertising. So provide something to your viewer that you would like to see. Give your viewers something that that gives them something to talk about. That is what truly successful content is when it comes to video. Now, some of you guys might be familiar with Lori DeFore. I'm going to go ahead and start playing her. I'm going to go ahead and start playing her promo. She is the owner of Sustain Financial. She's a wonderful person. If you know her personally, she's extremely smart, very warm. She just brings an element of just goodness to any room that she occupies. We love her. In fact, if you were to look us up on iTunes under MediaCast Go, we do have a podcast where we interviewed Lori, and she's just a wonderful person. She has this big heart for young people especially. But what makes this video work so well and why this has been successful for her is that we approach this, financial planning is something that, especially for young people, it doesn't come to us naturally. Anyone that is under 30 years old, we're not always thinking about our finances, but Lori really brings this accessible approach to it, and we wanted to translate that in a way that is not transactional. What I mean by not transactional is, when you put out a video into the world, you often expect people to respond, to compliment, to engage. It's that expectation that is the transactional part of it. But when you just put out content out there for the sake of putting out content, the intention of just wanting to provide value is what the audience appreciates the most. Here we wanted to demonstrate how much Lori cares about her clients, how much she wants her clients to be successful, and to adopt this mentality of taking charge of their money, of taking charge of their future, and giving them the confidence that this is something that they can do themselves, with some help, but that they can do it. They have the potential to achieve their financial goals. Um, so not being transactional about your content means making content that gives attention to the audience. This is about them, not about me. That that provides them affection. That says, I care about you. I care about what you watch. So I'm doing something that I hope is going to be good enough for you. Something that is flattering to them. Something that says, I appreciate that you're going to take the time to watch this. And I think that you have a very busy day, and I'm very excited that you're even taking the time to view this. Um, Something that offers an affirmation, something that provides people a feeling of being valued, a feeling that an overall just positive feeling after watching the content. And that provides, again, that unilateral value. I'm investing in you watching this, not because I want to get something out of you, but because if I'm going to have a presence online, I want my presence online to be positive and to be filled with value so that people can come just to watch for the sake of watching. So all this to say, you don't need to even hire our company to do this. Awesome. Thank you, Tanya. So you don't even need to hire a company to make a promo like the one that you just saw. This is something that, and I can't stress this enough, we are living in a time in which an entire television studio is sitting in your pocket. It's at the palm of your hands. When I was a little younger, I mean, I'm only 26, but when I was 18, 19 years old, and I was getting into film, getting into all this stuff, in order to make the kinds of videos that you can shoot on your iPhone, you had to rent equipment, you had to use high definition tapes, you had to transfer all this data to a computer that could handle the editing. It took days just to make a slow motion clip. Today you have most people have a phone that is very capable of taking high definition video footage. Most of them have microphones that are pretty that are pretty sensitive, that will pick up voices pretty well. These devices that we take for granted are everything that you need to make the kind of content that is going to bring people to your pages, or that is going to give people the confidence to invest in your services, or to invest in your products, or to take a closer look at what your organization does. So let's think about what it would look like to use your phone. So here I have a few photos of what I think is more than what you need. So up here at the top left, you have a series of phones. All of them have one thing in common, and that is that they have a screen and they have a camera. Any camera phone made after the year 2005, I think, is perfectly fine. You don't need anything more. If you were to go on Amazon, or if you were to go down to your local Walmart or Big Lots, you can find kits that have lenses, that have small tripods, that have stabilization devices that allow you to really make the most out of your camera phone. These things, I think that I want to say that we've seen them for $10, $15. Very simple to use tripods for your phone. And once you have something like that and you get some practice with it, I will admit it is always a little bit, it's always a little difficult. It's always a little awkward to set up a camera, to point it at you, and to talk to it, to talk about anything. It's always a little weird, but practice makes perfect. So if you just sit down and you record something, the fact that you have recorded something is an achievement, and the more that you do it, is the better that you will get at it. Down here on your bottom left, you have apps. here, like right in the center, the top center, you have iMovie for your phone. You have, if you were to go onto your Google Play Store or to your Apple App Store, and you just type in the words video editing in the search bar in your App Store, you will find an immense amount of video editing apps. And these are apps that are going to go right into your library of photos and videos on your phone. They will have a lot of already preset effects and transitions so that you don't have to spend a ton of time. You can do this while you're commuting, if you're taking the bus, or if you have some downtime, you want to take an hour to put together a video for your audience. All of this you can do from the comfort of your own phone. It's, again, tremendous. And I know I can make it sound like it's so easy, but really once you get started, it's only going to get easier to continue. So how much should you invest into your video? Personally, I don't think it takes more than what you see here, which might add up to maybe $30, $35, depending on where you get your accessories, or whether you have an account on your app store. You don't really need to spend a lot of money. Now, obviously, if your goal is to sell a particular product and you want to get this out there to hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of people, maybe it is good to consult with a marketing company, or you can talk to us about creating a professional video like the one we did for Lori. But if what your intention is just to get started to build a following online, you can do it completely on your own. So getting started, what I'm going to show you here, I'm going to make sure it's not very loud. First, I want to introduce this client. Her name is Natalie Danielson. She is a real estate teacher. She teaches clock hours for real estate agents in the Seattle area. And she is one of our more intriguing case studies because Natalie is in her mid-40s. She's not very tech savvy. She doesn't even have a logo, but she is very prolific. She's very active. She networks a lot. Everybody knows her in her community. And when she came to us, she said, hey, how can I use video to grow my business and to build a following online, and how can I do it without spending thousands of dollars? So we said, okay, you have your phone, you have an iPhone 10, which is a great phone, very expensive, but it's a phenomenal phone. We said, just get started. So here at Media Marketing Solutions, we offer vlog production, a vlog production product. So all of what you see here, Natalie shot herself. And so she takes us through her day, and she is a very, I don't want to say a quirky person, but she's just someone that you will never forget. Once you meet her for the first time, you will never forget who she is. And that definitely comes across in the videos that she shot. She takes us through her day, how she begins, where she her office away from her office, where she spends all day at Starbucks and she doesn't even drink coffee. She's such a funny and engaging person, and you definitely get that sense when you watch her blog. Again, how much does she invest in this blog? I mean, really, she only hired us to do the post-production. We do all the editing for our blog clients, but that's something that, again, if you wanted to take the time to learn, you can do it completely on your own. And what she saw immediately after posting this, so this is actually very recent. This was made in like the last 3 days or so. She's almost at 2,000 views on this video on YouTube. She's never had that kind of engagement before. So she called me almost in the middle of the night, and she was so excited. She said, oh my God, I can't believe that I'm getting all these views, and people are sending me messages, people are reaching out to me, thank you so much. I can't wait to do my next one. And her worries, her anxiety was the same as anyone's when they're getting started, is, how do I do this? How do I get started? I've never done this before. Well, like I said, it really is just a matter of, I'll go a little bit into that a little more here in the next slide, but again, in an era of perception, being yourself is the ultimate stunt. So Natalie Danielson, the reason her vlog is successful, is going to continue to be successful, is because she's being herself. She's not masking anything. She is being extremely transparent about who she is and what she does. That's the kind of thing that people want to see. Again, that goes back to that unilateral value that she's providing. Yes, she's talking about herself, but in the way confident about who you are. She makes us feel confident about who we want to be. She just does this so easily through her blog. So what does it mean to get started? First, you have to pick a topic or a story. Again, what is the story? It's a sequence of events that end with a conclusion. That might seem like a loaded statement, but it's really not. Pick a topic. I mean, I'm looking around my office right now. There's a little can of peanuts. Maybe my topic could be about why peanuts are a great snack for when you're, from when you're working. It's, they have amino acids, and they're you can't overdose on them. They're really tasty. They go well with any drink. Once you pick a topic, the topic that you can provide insight in, the topic that you have some experience with, that's where you're going to find your value. That's where you're going to find that unilateral sort of story. That unilateral story that you can provide to your audience. Second, very important, you want to pick a release date. Tomorrow is February 1st. Me personally, I always think that picking a deadline is as easy as looking at a calendar, looking at the very last day of the month and going, okay, that's going to be my deadline, or looking at the first day of the month and going, that's going to be my deadline, for no other particular reason that it's just so happens to be the first day of the month, right? Next, you want to announce it to everyone. Anecdotal evidence shows that if you tell your friends that you want to lose weight, it may help you in that accountability. And so by letting your friends know, if you tweet or you post on Facebook that, hey guys, I'm going to be starting a vlog, or I'm going to start doing Facebook Lives every Monday. I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea what to do. I just want to get started, right? People immediately, as soon as you do that, people are going to comment and go, oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait. I've always wanted to see you do this. And that kind of motivation is going to propel you to deliver the content. So once you do that, you want to record it all in as few takes as possible. What does that mean? So consider your setting, your subject, and the body of the video. So for example, if I wanted to do this here at my office, I would pick a place in the office that is well lit, maybe by the window, maybe maybe closer to the center of the room where the light is right above me. You want to just pick your setting, make sure it looks good, and then stick to it. Or if you're like Lisa Poundstone, where the setting was a house, you want to provide us some coverage of the house. You want to show us around. Now, you have to also pick your subjects, and this could be a physical object, or it could be just the topic, right? So again, in the case of Lisa Poundstone, when she's walking us through the house, the subjects are really the home itself and the furniture that it takes to furnish, to stage this home. The body of the video is the value, the content, when she's actually talking about the challenge of picking the right furniture, of arranging it in such a way that it has this effect. You want to do all this in as few takes as possible, because if let's say you do one solid take, one recording where you're showing us around your office, or you're showing us around your company, or whatever it is, one solid take of that is enough. You don't have to do multiple. Doing multiple takes is only going to complicate it, and the more that you complicate the making of your video is, the more you're going to get discouraged and you're not going to complete it. So keep it simple. Edit lightly, or don't even edit if you can avoid it. If you do just one long take and you're just talking the entire time and that's your video, just as long as you're providing value, you're providing a story, you're good to go. If you download one of these apps and it's an app that you understand, that is not difficult for you to to use, again, keep it simple. Make it 2-3 takes of something that you can be be fluent with, and edit it lightly. Again, the only objective of editing lightly is so that you don't complicate it and that you actually complete your video. And then keep in mind, there's no such thing as perfect. Again, that goes with the whole idea of keeping it simple. Is, at the end of the day, this is going to go on your Facebook wall or on LinkedIn or on YouTube, wherever you're going to put it, and people are going to see it, and it's going to be there for a week, and then it's going to go away. That's what happens with content today. Is it only sticks around for so long. Even if it goes viral, it's going to be talked about for a short period of time, and it's going to go away. So don't invest so much time into something that is only going to exist for a short period of time. Don't be a perfectionist. Just think about finishing your video and getting it out there as soon as possible. This is very important. And I've had many conversations with young creatives about this, or younger creatives about this, is to just publish the content, even if it's not perfect, even if you really want to put the right font on that title, or you want to wait for the weather to be a certain way. Throw it online and listen to the feedback. People might tell you, I really like this. I particularly liked XYZ about your video. Listen to that and go, okay, they liked XYZ. I'm going to focus on XYZ and I'm going to leave other things out. If people tell you, hey, it's a little long, hey, that's great feedback. Keep it shorter. Now you know. This way, you're focusing on getting the video out there, and you're not so worried about making sure that it's perfect, because the thing is, it'll never be perfect. You are your own worst critic, and so the longer you take is the longer that you're going to be prolonging feedback anyway. People are always going to have something to critique. And then once you finally publish your video, you want to be consistent. You want to maybe do it once a week or every 2 weeks, but humans, we are creatures of habit, and so if we see that a video pops up on our friend's feed on a Monday, and it does it again on the next Monday, and the Monday after that, we are soon going to say, hey, this person has this show online every Monday, and that's great. That's the way in which you build a community, is by doing something in a repetitive manner that is good, that provides value, and people will flock to it. It's not always that if you build it, they will come, but if you build it and refine it and listen and improve, people will begin to trickle in, and people will, spread the word about it. One anecdote for us here at our company is we have a podcast. Even though it's not video, it's a podcast, and we put it out. We try to put it out every week. And it's always a little daunting at first, thinking, oh, well, what are people going to think about this podcast? You start sort of worrying about what people are going to say, whether they'll like it at all, whether anybody will listen to it. But what we found, 4 or 5 weeks into it, is people would tell us, hey, I really like your podcast. I like, when you talked to Daryl Murrow and you talked about building a system, building systemizing your business in such a way that it works with or without you. People will take notice of something that is being done consistently. So again, getting started, it's very simple. I can talk at length about all of this because I can talk at length, period. But it's really just as simple as picking a story or a topic, making sure that it's simple to make, and that you're consistent about releasing it. And that's it. That's how you stop marketing and start storytelling in 2018. I hope that I didn't bore you for too long. And if you have any questions about how to utilize video or how to improve on the video, the videos that you're getting right now, we're happy to always take your questions. We're happy to meet with you. If you email us at info@mmsmedia.net, we're always happy to either get you on the phone or have a consultation here at our office. We are not necessarily out to make a bunch of sales on storytelling, even though we are in business for profit, obviously. But we do believe that 2018 is a landmark in the way that people use video today.
Great. Thank you so much, Carlos. This is amazing and very informative. I just wanted to open it up if the people that are on the webinar had any questions for Carlos. And I just wanted to mention that I didn't know, but MMS Media is located in Olympia, which is great. Um, but I assume, Carlos, could you work with people outside of the area as well?
Yeah, in fact, our friend Natalie, she is based out of Kirkland, so we don't have to be anywhere remotely close to work with you. Of
Great. Now, I had a couple questions, if you don't mind.
course,
I really valued how you made the use of video accessible, especially to startups, because they're often on a very limited budget. So just those tips about, getting a little tripod and downloading an app, that's fantastic. And I really like that you just said, just go for it. Just get something out there. It doesn't have to be perfect. Um, and that what you said about build community and build value. I think that's so great. And I think you really demonstrated well how you do that with video. You really brought it to life. Can you suggest some ways that small businesses can really incorporate video into their marketing plan, whether it's
certainly.
social media or
Mhm.
other platforms?
Yeah, I'm going to go back here to a previous slide. Um, so going back to Natalie, she uh, teaching clock hours is her business. This is her bread and butter. So obviously, she is thinking about her budget. She is thinking about how much she can, how many vlogs she can afford to do in a month, and so on and so forth. Um, but the defining difference in how you can use video affordably in your marketing plan today is realizing that video is not merely a showcase piece. It's not merely to showcase your services and your products. It is a form of communication. It's a conversation starter. So when you think about video that way, here like Natalie is, she shot all of this on her phone. She did all of this herself. All we did was just put it together.
Mhm.
And what her intention was to let people know what she does, what her personality is like, and she's ready to engage people in their comments. So as long as you, let me put it a little more pragmatically. If you say, for example, if you want to start using video for a marketing campaign um, starting next month, think about where you want to end up. What is it that you're trying to achieve? Are you trying to raise funds? Are you trying to
Mhm.
get people to come to an event? What is it that you're trying to do? And then from there, you can make the decision of, should I put out a video every week? Should I put out just one really well-made video? That's how you can really make that financial decision of what you want to invest, or if you need to invest at all. If all
Great.
you're trying to Yeah, it's if all you're trying to do is raise awareness, you don't need to spend a lot of money. You can do what Natalie's doing,
Hmm.
because that's using it as a form of communication is the most affordable way to use video.
Great. Yeah, because you get a lot of tips and information from people saying, oh, the new trend on websites is,
Mhm,
X, Y, or Z videos, or you need
mhm.
to have a video up on YouTube, or you need to have a vlog or a blog.
Hmm.
and I see, small businesses just trying to do everything, and they're just trying to, get on Facebook, and they're trying to, and without what you just described was that purpose, like why
Right.
do you need a video?
Right.
Um, and I have seen websites moving from photography to video. Do you think that's going to be an ongoing trend?
Yeah, I definitely think so. And I don't necessarily, I don't love the idea that everyone's going to start using video just because it's something that you have to have.
Hmm.
You know, I really don't think that that's the case. I think that everything has its place. I think that written content has its place. I certainly read blogs. I love Instagram for the still photography. Um, my only thesis here is that video has many uses, and the quality doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the results. Um, so with that said, um, once I'll tell you a quick story. Once I locked myself out of my office, and I tried everything to get back in.
Hmm.
And what happened is I had broken the key in the lock, and so you can imagine how frustrating that can be. Well, what I did was I Googled how to get a broken key out of a lock, and one of the top results was a video of someone using bubblegum to get the key out of the lock.
Uh-huh.
This video had over 90 million views, and
Wow.
it didn't have music. It didn't have any effects. It was something that someone shot on their phone,
Yeah.
uh, and it had 90 million views, and it happened to be a locksmith. So um, that's an example of how this person wasn't trying to make a commercial. They
Right.
just said, "Hey, I bet you didn't know that you could use bubblegum to get this key out of this lock."
Yeah.
So
That's
that's how you can
great.
use video. You're
Hmm.
providing value. You're providing a survival tip.
Hmm. Very good.
Yeah, that applies to everyone, especially women. My wife, she loves to watch vlogs about you know uh, makeup and accessories and things like that. And everybody knows these videos are very low production cost. It really is usually just someone, a talking head,
Right.
and they provide a tremendous value.
That's great. Well, I have a really quick story. When my son went off to college, I was worried about, oh gosh, did I, teach him everything he needed to know to survive by himself? Can he boil an egg? And I was just talking to him about that and kind of lamenting, like, did I do my job as a parent? And um, he was laughing and he says, "Oh, Mom, it's okay. We just YouTube everything. So if I need to know how to boil an egg, I'll just YouTube it."
There you go.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't know if I feel better or worse.
Well,
I wasn't sure how to take that.
it's one of those things. The we're always saying, these darn kids. That's just
Right.
the way it is. Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Awesome. Well, thank you so
Now,
much.
yeah, it's been a pleasure to have you, and we really appreciate you joining us on Let's Talk Business. And I hope everyone will check our calendar, see what the upcoming topic experts are going to be. And yeah, we'll say goodbye unless anyone else has a question for Carlos before he leaves.
Going once.
Going
Thank you
to
so much.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank you
so much,
again,
Lee.
Carlos.
It's
Appreciate
an
it.
honor. Alrighty. Well, have a great rest of your week. And if you ever need anything, yeah, email us. We're happy to help you.
Thank you so much, Carlos. And
All
thank
right.
you to all of you that were on the call. And we hope to see you again on another one. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Bye bye.